Hello, welcome, my friends. Welcome. I am Omar Krieg, Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and this is Second Star, a Traveler 2300 AD role-playing experience brought to you by myself and some like-minded fools. We're all a bunch of fools. We're crazy. We're weird. We're silly,
Yeah.
and some of us are more foolish than others, but mostly it's me. Definitely me. Anyways, as I fiddle with my phone and find my notes and finish getting everything else set up, let's touch in. Oh, that sounded bad. Let's check in with everybody else and see what we've all been up to, because it has been at least 3 weeks, possibly longer. I don't remember the exact how long it's been, but I want to say it was the very beginning of April was our last time together, and even that might have been a little up in the air. So, anyways, Charles, you're first. How's life for you? You went on a trip. You did some things. Why don't you share with us what
Yeah.
you're willing to share?
So yeah, I was on vacation with the fams. My mother-in-law bought us tickets down to a Times Square and near Cabo, actually some little town outside of Cabo, like the cheaper town to live in. So I spent the week down there doing pool stuff and drinking by the pool, and got
Nice.
back last week, and now I'm trying to get integrated back into work, which is, of course, work always tells you never take vacations because there's a million and one emails that all require responses. So, other than that, the only thing I've been doing I'm gonna now as I'm half attention is because it's go Kraken. It's 6 baby, NFL NHL playoffs.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I've
uh,
not been paying attention, but for a team to make it into the playoffs at all in only their second season of existence, that's
yep,
gotta be saying something.
yep, and they're holding the Avalanche to a 2-2 tie. This is the game winner, and everyone's still talking about the big hit. You last was it today's Wednesday, so the Monday night game where they took out our star player Jared McCann.
Mm-hmm.
So and the league's actually looking into that and put the guy who did it in suspension for 5 games. So he's basically out of the playoffs.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I sports is not my thing. I play more video games based on sports than I do actual sports.
Yeah,
But that's
it's
I'm in this area, and I heard the radio broadcast on the local rock station when they announced the team name a couple years ago, and it was just electrifying. Like
yep.
when they produced that bit or whatever you want to call it, like they knew what they were doing. Because I, who had nominal interest in hockey, and a team in this area where I'm like, whatever. The other teams around here are not exactly the most best
Right.
teams in any leagues, but yeah, when they did it here on the radio, it was electrifying. I definitely got wound up for it. I was pretty excited, and I'm meaning to pay more attention to the Kraken, but I haven't been.
Right, right. Yeah, same here. I mean, I try to follow when I can and where I can, listen to the radio through the apps and stuff like that. So, but it's exciting to see them in the playoffs. And then I'm close enough I can go see. There's the local minor league team, the Thunderbirds, which are like 30 minutes away from me, so I can go catch them for cheap tickets for at least for the hockey experience when I want to. So,
Yeah,
but that's about me. And then work is work, and life is chugging hard, and it's already springtime. Jesus.
yeah.
So,
It's weird how April is basically gone at this.
yep.
A few days left, obviously, but just weird. Anyway, who's next? We've got Wiggles, currently seated in a restaurant.
Oh.
So, Wiggles, please enlighten us to what's new and exciting in your neck of the woods.
Hopefully getting new internet tomorrow, so that'd be nice. I started a paid for traveler game, which caused a lot of drama on the fan traveler Discord.
Oh, really?
Drama.
Yeah, it turns out there's quite a lot of people who have very negative opinions and need to strongly assert them.
Yeah.
Where they don't like paid for games.
Yeah, as a concept, yeah.
I mean, I have my own opinions on that one, but let's not get into that.
Well, I think at the end of the day,
Well, I mean, my opinions aren't necessarily super strong about it. I mean, if you want to pay for a game, go for it.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
think that's
people
really
enjoy that sort of thing.
I think that's really.
But I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to keep.
no, you go on, man.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, not that I'm an expert or anything like that, but like, at the end of the day, if a person offers it and there are people willing to pay it, then what business is it of the people that are otherwise not involved? You
I
know?
got
Yeah, I
called a prostitute.
Well, that doesn't make any sense because, well, no, actually,
No,
no,
because
I
that's
get it.
I mean, the way I just explained it does indeed exactly line up with a
Yeah, that kind of
prostitute.
does sound like prostitution, doesn't it?
Except for the fact that
Jesus.
there are laws against it in most places in the U.S. anyway.
Well, yeah, good luck. Great. Now they're gonna start. They're gonna start taxing paid for travelers / indie games or something like that. Maybe.
I don't know.
Um,
It depends
I
on
don't
if
know.
you make enough
My
income.
viewpoint on paid for games. I don't personally like them very much. Specifically, just I don't think I'm usually going to get the most. I guess how should I say it? The most
Bang for your buck.
unbiased kind of gameplay, if it makes any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, because like if you're paying a DM to give you to do something, to like DM a game for you, and you're paying them for this game, that's a service now. So they need to service the person now, or the players in some capacity or another, which means there's going to probably be some level of whether or not like it's whether or not they want to or not. I feel like there might just be a tiny little bit of underlying bias towards the player, so that they actually can make sure that they have a good time, as it were.
Yep.
Maybe don't fuck them over as much. Maybe
Well-
maybe you kind of give them a little more than you would normally, like in a normal game or something like that.
I
I
think
mean,
it
that
is-
sort of thing.
In my previous paid for game, I TPK the party.
Well, there you go.
But here's the
I
question.
meant-
As funny as that may be to throw it out there like that, here's the question: did the players do arguably not smart things, make poor choices, or have a really bad run of luck that led them into the situation that got them TPK, or did they just, or was it the DM? Was it the situation? That's and obviously Wiggles. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. I think the end of the day is any GM or DM or whatever, regardless of whether they're getting paid or not to do what they do, they ought to be listening to the players and pulling from the players what kind of story gets told, and using that information to create the story that's then presented to them. Especially if you're getting paid, I feel like that's even more paramount.
So the major difference is the fact that I'm more likely to include things that I don't care about.
Yeah, because it's less about your story than it is, more theirs because there's money on
Yes,
the line.
since I am being paid, my personal interest is decreased because
Yeah.
I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
So things which I won't naturally include in the story because they don't strongly interest me or I wouldn't tend to think of them, they'll get included if they want it.
Right.
But outside that, you just set expectations.
Yeah.
So for the Traveler game I'm running, we had session 0, and I said this is a finite game. There are 3 ways it can end. You can get all rich and retire, you complete the actual storyline, or you all die.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, that seems pretty fair. I think the issue probably some people might have with these kinds of games though is that, like, let's say they get TPK'd slightly early in the game, well, they just spent a shitload of money on a campaign that ended prematurely. Even if they did, let's say, made some, maybe some not so wise decisions.
Yeah, so
I mean,
for the
I'm not saying this from personal experience. I mean, I have been in a paid for game. I just quit because I didn't quit. I didn't quit. He actually just canceled it, but for scheduling reasons.
So for the TPK game, I told the party, like, okay, so you're gonna go talk to Monalao, an ancient red dragon who sits in a volcano in Hawaii, right? It's capricious and hateful towards humanity. So if you fail any rolls, she'll just kill you.
Fair enough.
So they're
Why would-
fully aware of the fact that they're entering an incredibly deadly situation.
Yeah.
That they could have just decided, no, how about not?
I don't know why they would do that. I mean,
Well, it
It's kinda
depends on
silly,
the
don't
rest
you
of the story too.
They had a goal to try to get the dragons to enter an alliance in order to stop Cthulhu.
Okay.
Stop Cthulhu?
I didn't think that was an option.
Well, not really.
Yeah, I didn't know you
Cthulhu.
could stop Cthulhu. I thought he was unstoppable, more or less.
It was actually okay. This is for my D&D home spreading campaign, which I call Earth IRPH. And, One of my major weaknesses as a GM is I can't art, so I can't draw maps. I can't do any of that stuff. So just to tell you how old this campaign world is, I realized that MapQuest exists, and I could just use MapQuest to give me maps for fantasy locations. And I could just do simple translations for stuff like gas stations or stables and things like that.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. That works.
Yeah. So the game took place in the California Republic, and the gnomes blew up Mount Everest doing an alchemical experiment, which unleashed the Overmind, and
Oh, cool.
Zergs were starting to invade.
You know, this is sounding like a pretty sane campaign setting, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
It made the buy-in a lot easier because I was playing with people who I knew in real life. We all live in California, so I'm like, okay, so I could just say, okay, you're in Reading and you're trying to get to Bakersfield, and like we could just like Google Maps that stuff. We could like figure out exactly where we'd be going.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Before we
Kinda funny,
divulge
honestly.
into a rabbit hole much deeper than this, let's go ahead and move on to Zamerson.
Nah, he's
Yo.
boring. We can skip him.
I'm incredibly boring. Like, you know, the most interesting thing that happened to me over the past month, because we haven't played for a month.
Has it
was
really
getting,
been that
you know, I
long?
got-
God. I'm sorry,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
3 weeks is a month, isn't it? More or less,
Damn near.
give or take. Well, I got a car. I mean, that's something, I think.
That is something.
Good deal.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations.
Honestly, that's kind of the most interesting thing that's happened. But I mean, really, I think that's my highlight of the month. So I mean, there it is.
All right, and I'm gonna turn his slides on the display. We have a new member to the crew. For those that don't know, because I don't think we ever really talked a whole lot about it. I may have in our last session said something. Unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, Lee, who played Dr. Hoffman, his first name I can't remember, but basically he was playing the ship's medic. Unfortunately, Lee was not able to continue the experience with us due to scheduling reasons. We did, however, manage to find a fourth person. His name is Thurgor. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I am.
Yep.
Thurgor, why don't you take a moment, tell us about yourself, and then a brief synopsis, or at least a concept of your character, who will not be introduced until probably near the end of the session.
All right. So I am a new / old Traveler 2300 player. I played back from its initial release for years and years. Loved it. Went through the majority of the campaign material and all of that. Very much looking forward to the changes that Mongoose has brought to it by adapting it to the actual Traveler rule set, which there was always confusion at the beginning about it being called Traveler 2300 and not being Traveler to begin with. But it all looks really good. The old game had some issues. It looks like the Traveler rule set is going to help tremendously, especially with like combat. Combat was always a little difficult back then. My character is Joseph Milligan. He was a career military naval officer who mustered out, worked for Rebco SAR for one cycle, and just can't quite seem to find what he likes the most. He is learned in many different things. Flex has hired him to be the new senior pilot on the ship, and that will all come down the pipes as to why that's happening, I guess, towards the end of the session.
Indeed. And welcome, my friend. Welcome.
Thank you.
I have to warn the audience, we are experiencing some minor, relatively persistent, and generally unfigure-outable technical issues with, particularly with Thurgor and his ability to download assets for Tabletop Simulator. We don't know what the problem is. We're trying to resolve it as best we can. Zam, if you could pick a color on the table like you normally do, that'd be great. Although I think, as it turns out, I think Thurgor ended up taking your spot, so you'll have to find a new spot.
Mother.
I just picked
You
the one that
son
was
of a bitch!
closest to me. That's all I did.
That's what
You're
you
supposed
get
to be
for
the
being
white,
late.
the white color. That's mine.
I can move. I don't have a problem.
Oh,
Hey, go over to orange, okay?
Oh my
Or
God! Stop! All
Well,
right.
see, the problem is I can't see the colors because the
Because
assets.
he can't get all his assets to load in.
God damn it.
colorblind.
You know what? Here. I'll make it funny. I'll make it all haha funny and be pink.
No,
Because
why is
yeah.
pink funny? Pink's a, you
Because
know
you're a
pink is a man.
girl.
You know, pink is a manly color. Did you
No,
know
it's
that?
really not.
It really
Let's be
used
all
to
be
be.
real here.
It used to
It
be.
goes with your character, dude.
It's never been a manly color.
It
It
has.
goes with your character because the pink is
Purple has
someone's
been a
brain
fucking
cell
manly
now.
color.
Okay, all
Not
right,
pink.
all right. Before I start another freaking war.
Not true.
No
About
kidding.
100 years ago, about 150 years ago, pink was traditionally a masculine color given for boys.
Yep.
No,
Yes.
it wasn't.
Listen, we can have that discussion some other time. Previously on Second Star, the Wayfinder arrives at the orbital mining station Andrew Carnegie and makes dock, sending forward a fire team to secure the rotunda for follow-on teams. And I'm going to actually interrupt my own recap there just to bring it back a little bit further because it has been a few weeks. And if you're not watching this on YouTube as part of the playlist, going one episode right after the other, like this is Netflix or something, you may not know what the hell I'm even talking about. So, a session or two ago, the crew, currently en route to Beowulf, which is further down the French arm, they made a stop in a place called Inferno, which is the innermost planet of the Wolf 359 system, also called Nyotekundu, and I'm probably totally butchering it. It's a Swahili word for red gem or something like that. Anyway, while there, turns out that something weird, trademarked, it took place on the OMS Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie is a orbital mining station out in orbit of the gas giant furthest out in the solar system. It basically grabs gigantic chunks of ice out of the rings of the gas giant and literally shoots them down the gravity well towards Inferno, so that it creates a long chain of these ice rocks coming down. And so then the ice is then used to provide drinking water and used in the machinery that is used on the planet, because Inferno, as one may be able to deduce from the name of the planet, is super freaking hot and generally a nightmarish landscape.
Wait, what? I thought it was cold.
No, it's not at all.
So hot it's cold.
Yep. So that is the purpose of the Andrew Carnegie, and of course, because of this sort of thing, there's a whole company built up around this, or more accurately, the Carnegie is part of this company, which means there's contracts in place, which means if they're not meeting quota, questions get asked, people may lose their jobs. It ends up affecting the entire economy of a solar system, and also generically that means bad things. So the Wayfinder ship and crew has been effectively hired to go out to the station and find out what is going on and do their best as to either clear the situation up and restore operations, or possibly even rescue the people at the station from whatever the problem is. Now back to my recap. Wayfinder arrives at the Carnegie and makes dock, sending forward a fire team to secure the entry rotunda for follow-on teams. Almost immediately, a firefight breaks out as what can only be described as guard bots approach Senior Trooper Steve McAvoy's team. The sounds of shotguns, automatic rifles, pistols, and the snap crack of electrical discharges are heard all around the rotunda as the command team arrives, relieving some of the pressure on McAvoy's team. Finally, the bots are subdued, reduced to sparking, smoking wrecks, and the teams are able to make their way further into the station. Commander George Wyatt immediately heads down to the engineering deck, where he finds one of the station crew feverishly working on some unknown project, even going so far as to generally ignore the intrusion until that crewman is detained and all the bots on the station are put into a shutdown mode. The situation now is quiet and mostly contained, wounds are tended to, and the search for the rest of the station's crew is underway. And our very last live moment in our scene from our last session was literally this right here. I have to clarify. A lot of these people don't actually have guns. I didn't have generic figures to use. So, and I also should have chose a different color for them. My bad. I should have done that. And I definitely had the time to do it. I will say that if there is a person laying face down, they are dead. If they are kneeling or standing, they are alive. So, for the viewers at home, this room where somebody has kindly written the word persons is the assembly hall. And this individual here That is Senior Trooper McAvoy, backed up by Trooper Carl Spearman, as they kick in the door and enter this room. And go. Inside this room, McAvoy, are a number of people. They are not armed, but they are suddenly surprised by your arrival.
I immediately contact, I guess what would be the word for it? What's the word for somebody who like like the higher ups right now?
Well, you are one of those higher ups, but the next higher up from you would be Troop Sergeant Buford? No, that's not right. Hold on. Julio. No,
well,
that's
the XO is here, isn't he?
XO's here, but he's on a different deck. So at the moment, you've got. I'm trying to figure out where I put him. Oh, there he is. You've got Franco, Troop Sergeant Franco, and your LT, Troop Commander Hurst. God, it's been so long, I forgot these people's names.
I'll contact Hurst and say, I'll be like, how many are there, by the way?
What you see on the screen. So looks like 6 people in this room, other than you and Spearman. Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
And 2 dead bodies.
I got
or
6,
what you could assume are dead bodies.
6 unarmed civilians and 2 dead ones.
Hurst immediately comes back on the radio. Hold that position. I'm on my way. And a moment later, Hurst and Franco and this senior armsman over here. Is that you, Charles, that's over here? Yep, that is you. I'm assuming you're going to move with the LT and the sergeant?
Yep.
Okay, immediately they break from where they were. Because I think you guys were initially over this way. You were searching for stuff, trying to find people. That's what it was.
Yeah. We were
doing the whole clear and sweep once the initial firefight broke down.
Yeah, and because we had found a dead body over at one end, we're like, okay, is there any more dead bodies around?
So yeah, Hurst comes in and basically she has you and your fire team, Damerson, set up security. 2 of you down the hallway, and then 2 of you in the room with her and Franco. And then Hellwig, she's gonna have you kind of just sit out in the hallway as well, kind of just pulling local security.
Okay.
Once the situation comes in, there's a number of people in here. There's the 6 people that I said already. There's some German, there's English, there's French, there's Spanish, and there's even a wee bit of Italian being spoken about as these people are like speaking several languages at once. They don't recognize who you are right away. Hurst immediately goes into the whole, I'm Lieutenant, I forget her first name. I want to say it's Latoya. Let me look at her rough. Oh, it is actually Latoya. Brain works. Latoya, she immediately goes into like your standard, hey, I'm Lieutenant or Troop Commander Latoya Hurst Flex, from Far London Wallen, from the FLS Wayfinder. We were sent here to figure out what the hell's going on with station. A lady approaches and speaks up. She's speaking in German initially, but she can, as you listen to the conversation, you can realize she can go back and forth easily because she speaks both German and English. But she basically starts going into a recap. I totally forgot about that whole improvised weapon bit. Oh well. She starts to answer questions and explaining the situation. She says that the 2 dead bodies over in the air to the side there is Wolfgang Hapke and Dolph Yeager. One of them was an EVA team member. Another one was a chief officer. A chief officer, I should say. They were killed because the bots. They had attempted to break out in force, but the bots obviously fought back, and that's why when you first showed up, Zamerson, that's why there were bots like right there, right away.
Yeah, fair enough.
Kruger goes on to basically illustrate the following timeline. After the comms went down the 3rd time, if you guys remember, the comms went down, and then they come back up, and they went down and they went back up, and they went down and they went back up, and then it went down at like a final time forever. These are all in the handouts that I put out way back when, which you may or may not have read. But basically, there was some comms disruption, and then finally the comms went quiet, which is what triggered you guys coming out here. After the comms went down for the final time, the chief engineer, Berghofer, disappeared into the engineering deck and refused to come out for any reason. Everybody spent a little while trying to figure out what the hell he was up to, but nobody could get him to like open up or even talk. Like he barely talked to. He wasn't really much of a talkative person in the first place, but now he was like absolutely cut off and refused to do anything other than whatever his work was. Eventually, one of the other junior engineers, Kingsford, went to confront Berghofer, but nobody knows exactly what happened. But a fight broke out, and Kingsford was killed, and then Berghofer just went right back to work. I believe if you look at the various bodies laying around on the board, that they're in kind of somewhat specific. All the people on the board are in specific locations for a reason. I believe this guy here is supposed to be Kingsford, but my notes and my memory are not supporting that, so I can't validate. But anyway, that's Kingsford for when the time comes up. What is? Ooh, it gets so mad at a barbecue. I have
What the
no
hell are you
idea.
talking about, Wiggles?
I don't know.
Kingsford. It's a brand
Kingsford.
new-
Yeah, as soon as I said it when I said his name the second time, I was like, somebody's gonna make a barbecue joke. Anyway, once Berghofer killed Kingsford, that's when the bots started like rounding everybody up. So prior to that, a lot of the bots are basically various types of maintenance. Like they're programmed or designed to do specific maintenance related tasks. Excuse me one second. But now
Good, Chief?
I'm good. When Kingsford died, Berghofer apparently recognized the potential of somebody else coming in. So he's like, fuck all that. I'm going to send these robots out to round everybody up and put them in one spot and keep them there under guard. After that, several hours later, Tom Kendall, which Hellwig's team found, that was the first dead body that was found, and you guys identified him as Kendall. He broke out through some of the ventilation and managed to go, and like he was trying to get out and try to find some food or something like that, but he must have been discovered because he never came back. Ironically enough, later on, food started showing up on a semi-regular basis, like every several hours. There was a little bit of food that was brought in. By the second day, a few of the people that were originally in the assembly hall actually snuck out in a group with the intention of going out to try to get a distress call sent off. That was the final handout, or the final communication. The one that, if you guys read through it or whatever, you would know it was. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm talking too much now. I'm gonna get a yawn. It was the actual distress call that it was said something like it was sent from an unauthorized or non-standard source or something like that in the actual message. Those individuals, once they left, they never came back, so they really don't even know for sure if that distress call got out. But they do know they would have gone to the control deck to do that. Now, you guys have already been on the control deck. I believe the XO and one or two others went to the control deck to actually shut down, or to attempt to shut down the robots, and ended up going back to the engineer deck because all controls have been routed through the control deck to the engineering deck. I'm hoping.
And I got shot.
And you got shot.
I got shot.
You got shot.
Please don't tell my wife.
Yeah. Oh God.
I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna tell her right now. I'm gonna. Nah.
She's on the ship and you're not. So.
We have radios.
Yeah. So that's what she's saying. So there was like 5 or 6 people that went out to try to set up this or send off this communication message, but they never heard anything back from them. It's been 2 or 3 days because if you remember, it took 4 days to actually get here to Cosito into the station. Cosito is the name of the gas giant for those.
Okay.
That's pretty much the gist there. Is I'm going to leave it open for the characters or the players to pose questions even though it's really Hurst that's leading this initial dialogue.
Well, in that case, McAvoy is going to approach Hurst and just, just kind of simply ask, so what are our current orders?
Hurst kind of gives you one of those looks like, well, we still have to, effectively or essentially resolve this situation. The end state that the Marianne something or other, I can't remember her name, the lady that said all, basically she's the contact for Apex, because they want the station operational again, so we need to get the station up and running, which means finding everybody, getting controls rerouted back up to the command deck like it's supposed to be, making repairs, etc., etc. And assuming that that's what we're able to do, there's other things that we may have to do, depending on how far gone this whole situation is. And it looks like Berghofer was doing something on the engineering deck, but apparently nobody knows what exactly he was doing, but he's been working on it for several days now.
All right, well, I can have two of my boys head up north, or up that way. He's going to point in, northern part of the map, I guess, from where Mr. Orange is, or Mr. White, I mean. And me and this guy over here will head
Hold on,
down
I'm
that way.
confused when you said Mr. Orange and Mr. White. Who are you talking about?
Okay, well, see, Mr. Orange is me now, or not me. Was going to be me until I picked Mr. Pink. But then Mr. White was picked by me at the start, but it's actually Thurgor.
Okay. All right. Where exactly are you?
It's really quite simple.
It's not, but I'm gonna let it go because I'm not gonna fucking deal with it. Where exactly are you trying to take? Where are you trying to take your team? Where on these maps?
All right, me and my boy Carl over here, my best mate over here, my number one compadre, my star pupil, is gonna head this way. We're gonna head down the line this way. This little line I've drawn up here.
Okay. What are you looking for? Or what is
my other two? Well, I guess we're just. I mean, I'm assuming those. Well, I'm assuming these rooms haven't been searched yet.
No.
Right?
Effectively, no.
Okay, then. Well, we're just going to search the rooms. Pretty simple. And Buford and Kirsty are going to kind of do their line. They're going to search all the quarter rooms over there, the Q rooms. And then after they're done with those, they're going to make their way into the outer edge rooms, those big rooms on the edges of the map there, if you can see them. So they're going to check the quarters first, and then they're going to check those big rooms afterwards.
Give me a moment. I need to open.
I mean, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I could just do it, but, I mean,
yeah. Yep. I want to reiterate, once I find my notes, there actually was specific objectives that Apex wanted you guys to kind of open up my session notes.
Okay.
Or last session.
Well, that's why I asked for orders from Troop Commander, because...
No, that makes sense. I got you. I just don't remember. Okay, so here's the big ticket items. Secure the bridge in engineering in order to regain control of the station. Secure the medical deck in order to attend to any injured or otherwise in need of medical attention. The ship will be a backup for medical needs based on the situation and whatnot.
Okay, so take bridge, take medical.
Take engineering.
Take engineering.
Restore communications with Inferno, but be mindful there's an hour-and-a-half round trip in communications lag.
And it looks like there's already people in engineering, looks like.
Yeah, that was Wyatt's crew that went down that way. The last objective, and probably the overarching one, is identify and overcome whatever the source of the problem of the station is. It's something broken, fix it. The hostile action, eliminate the threat. Priority is the priority is the safe and successful resumption of station operations.
Okay, so let me understand this right, because I'm seeing figures on this side of the map here. So Caroline Brita here, is that one of ours?
No.
Okay. So nobody's in that section.
None of us. Yeah, these are NPCs. Nobody has actually made
medical deck.
Yeah, no one's gone to medical deck. I believe you guys attempted to go to the control deck, but it didn't do any good because everything was routed down towards engineering. Nobody's been on cargo or scooter.
So I went to engineering to shut down all the robots.
Yep.
And I'm good. I went down the engineering to shut down all the robots, and we did that. And then I went back to the command to take over the station, and then we're going to go back down to engineering.
Yeah, because all the command deck controls were frozen, essentially.
Well, okay, well, in that case, I have nothing. I mean, I don't need to search all these rooms then, I suppose, do I?
Oh, and we're also on station air, because I sent an environmental report to the ship.
Yep. You guys are... you have your helmets racked instead of on. Something like that.
Okay, well, if that's the ca- so
To
it
answer your
sounds like-
question though, Sam, you can absolutely search these rooms. There's no reason not to. It's just that
I mean, no,
uh,
yeah, I understand that, but it kind of sounds like the main objectives here are being achieved by the XO in his
Right.
team at the moment.
yeah.
So,
So if anything,
I-
okay. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I
it's all
think
good,
I
dude.
think what happens is Hurst and the XO are talking back and forth on the command net, and eventually Hurst turns to you and Benefield and basically says something to the effect of like, "All right, there's still a handful of people that are unaccounted for. Let's start sweeping the habitation level or whatever this deck is, and start getting accountability of everybody that as far as the crew complement goes."
Sounds good.
And
And
then
that- and that-
as you're trying to figure out what you want to do before you actually tell me, let me see where Hellwig is going to be in all of that. Are you staying with
Yeah.
the grunts basically?
Yeah, I'm staying with the grunts.
Okay.
And well, last I thought the XO got shot at. I mean, over.
He did. It was relatively minor wound, and the nurse went down to treat him.
Okay,
So he's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, because she was with me because he had found Mr. Donovan at one of these on the engineering deck.
Yeah, we did find someone in the robotics workshop, and we had them subdued.
Okay, right.
Donovan. No, Donovan's one of the
Oh,
crew. He's
okay.
oh yeah, because that's right. Because he wanted to take at least one or two of the engineering. Because remember, the two people of the
Yep.
crew were part of the engineering team that was basically going to establish or figure out what damages there were, figure out what needs to be repaired, or what needs to be done in order to get things working right. That's what it was. It was Donovan and somebody else. I don't remember. Might be someone. Eggleston over here.
Right.
That was the other maintenance type person.
Okay.
But you're gonna stay with the grunts and help them go door to door, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And right. I have some medic skills. So if there's anybody. I assume everybody in this little group over here is all us.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you said you're medical.
Yeah.
He's got a slew of. He's got a little bit of everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I mean, Buford over there, like Buford over there's got a couple of zappy zap burns from a Robinoid. If you want to go help him out, he's over this way.
Okay.
If you can see my little cursor.
Yeah. So
By
I'll
the
go
way-
over towards.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Real fast. Because we run into this a few times where we say something like, if you look where my cursor is or my hand is, whatever, wherever your hand is, if you push the tab button, it'll drop that little pointy arrow bouncing in the
Oh.
air. So if
Oh,
you
nice.
and there's usually like I don't know how loud your guys' sounds are. There's a little ding or whatever that goes with it. So just
Mine don't.
FYI, if
Hold
you
on.
need to like point something out to another player. But
Okay.
in the meantime, please continue talking about whatever it was you guys were.
Yeah,
about to do.
so I think then if Buford's injured, I'm gonna go walk over with the med kit I have in my system, and then just do the initial first aid assessment and wait
Well,
for the nurse and the doctor to show up.
I can't speak for Buford, but I'm assuming I've already ordered him to kind of him and Kirsty to start breaking doors down and see what's going on in these rooms. So,
Okay.
I mean, you can do with that what you will, Mr. Omar. But me
Uh,
and my boy Carl here.
Regarding doors,
Going.
they were all originally locked. Did we unlock all doors? I don't remember if we did that or not.
We didn't, I don't think, but I
No.
mean, I was assuming that I'm just gonna break him the fuck open. So I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I
I'm
mean, I
trying to
assume
remember.
they
Did
could
you
break a door.
literally kick this door in, or did it finally unlock? I don't
They
remember.
haven't actually done anything with the doors yet. I think the last time we left off, we actually that was around the point where we stopped. I didn't actually get
Yeah.
to them getting inside yet, if I recall.
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and hand wave that you guys did actually basically stand down from whatever security lockdown that Burkhofer had.
Oh, okay.
The
in that
doors-
case, I guess they
So
just
now
put-
the doors are either, if they're locked now, it's because the individual in control of that door, say like quarters or offices, whoever the owner
Yeah.
of that key is, would have locked. But you could still override that. It would just take, hey, I need door such and such unlocked, command override kind of thing.
And I think we were doing that too. We were slowly unlocking all the doors as we're going through the other side.
I think the ones I don't remember what the circle with the slash is. I think those were like locked. at the time.
Yeah, those were locked, but I tried to search them on my side.
Okay.
So when I was, the Zam's team walked into the Hailfire of robots, and I was on the other side
Yeah,
going
because
through and clearing all the rooms.
because as it probably makes a lot more sense now, there was nothing being locked down over here
Yeah.
on the blue side, but on the red side, there was people being guarded by these robots, and that's why you had to shoot them all. I really hope I really hope that got conveyed somewhere, and everybody's like, "Oh, that would explain why there was a bunch of these guardy fucks."
I mean, I didn't think about it too much. I just wanted to kill Robonoids. So in that case, I guess, I'll order them all. I'll order my boys to, or the ones that I'm currently not watching, aka not Carl, to just carefully, very cautiously go into these rooms if they're not locked.
Okay.
If they are locked, don't try to break in by yourself, and wait
Two
for
people to a room.
your mate.
Two
Yeah,
people
wait
to
for
a
your
room.
pal or somebody
that
else
would-
to come help you.
That would put Blaine and Aiello in a two-man team with you
Yes,
and
precisely.
Carl Spearman, as the other two-man team, and then
And the EXO did remark the fact that you come across a locked door was to mark it and move on.
correct.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did say that.
I do.
Okay,
Yeah, as soon as
change
he
of
said that, I
orders
was like, "Yep." However, so now, if you encounter locked doors, you've got access to a lot of the crew, or at least if you guys remember, one of the handouts was the crew complement. You do have a handful that you've interacted with.
Of course.
Basically, everybody here in the assembly room, or whatever. Any other NPC you see on the board, other than the guy marked Berghofer, has not been interacted with. Berghofer is currently being detained wherever the XO wants to detain him at. Speaking of
Could
the
we-
XO,
Could we? I hate to interrupt. I'm sorry, but
Nope, go ahead.
Just
I
wanna
kinda cut you off
just
there.
for make things kind of like crystal here.
Mhm.
Could we like maybe say that either me or someone else was given authority to kind of toss these guys in an organized little spot or corner of the room, so we can kind of have our guys pretty obvious, and then the civilians that we found not kind of jumbled in with the rest of these people. I'm saying that I want these 6 civvies that we found to be put somewhere else in the room, so that they don't, because I'm getting confused about where everybody is at this point.
Okay. I think what will probably happen is the crew will start becoming a bit more open-minded or receptive to ideas from you guys. And so if there's something you want them to do, they will probably do it. Remember, one of your priorities is getting the station back to up and operational again. And you've
Yeah,
got,
but I don't want to endanger any of them, so I think I'll just leave them be, honestly.
I mean, if you think putting them somewhere safe, like say in their own quarters, or maybe they just hang out here for a little while longer, that'd be probably helpful. But I feel like these guys would be, because they all work for the quote unquote company, they know the drill, and they also know kind of what's going on. It's not like there was necessarily a hostile takeover by outside party. This is all
Yeah,
internal.
no, I get it. I understand.
So if
Well,
you've got
I mean,
questions, or
listen.
if you want to try to get more information or whatever out of them, by all means, you can interact with them. If you want to just shuffle them all off to one side and leave them be while you continue sweeping everything, that's another option.
I'm just gonna sweep everything myself, and I'll just leave them be and let everybody else deal with them at this point. Me and
Okay.
me and my boy Carl, my best boy Carl, we're gonna go out and search.
Okay. Where are you going to?
All right, so TV boy's gonna go in through this way to the conference room. I'm gonna motion for Carl to kind of head this way and figure out what's in this room over here, up above him right here. This one right here.
The one that got partially erased. I actually have to look that one up. Let's see. Page up. Okay, here we go. Dude, oh my goodness, dude, calm down.
Excuse me.
Living modules, which is what you're in. Let's see. Oh, this is a storeroom. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Carl he basically finds the storeroom. Actually, can he even, I'm not sure if he can. No, there is a door there. Something got part of that image got.
There's a door right
erased.
there. I see it's a thinner
Yeah.
line with a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, this is a storage area meant specifically service compartment for the assembly hall. So basically, this is that one off the stage room that has like all of the the wires and the projectors and the speakers and extra components and shit like that. So
Did you
that
find anything other than that, or
no,
is it
that's
just
that's
clear?
it's just extra gear for the assembly room because there's like hollow projectors and stuff like that in there.
All right, and then Steve's gonna make his way in this room.
Conference room. That is the conference room.
love
Smaller.
conferences.
This is a smaller assembly area intended for high-level conferences amongst department heads, other senior personnel. It is possible for everyone to meet here at once. The room. Single large table has seating for 20. Each seat has a computer display or a terminal setup, like a little mini workstation. So basically, you got a big old conference table in the middle of the room and chairs and that, but that's it. Nothing really going on in here.
All right.
Hold
I'll go
there,
ahead and-
hold there. You got these other two knuckleheads over here. What are you doing with
Yeah,
them?
that's what I was gonna use. So I'm assuming there's nothing in these quarters anywhere that they're in right
There's
now, I
they're
guess, is-
personal quarters, so there's gonna be variation on a theme, but also not much difference. It's I'm sure I have quarters assignments written down somewhere in my notes. I just can't find it right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. So you skipped me over to this room. Does that mean this room was already searched?
I
Okay.
didn't do anything with that. Oh,
You skipped both of my guys over to this room for some reason.
I
Okay.
just put them together in the same spot.
Oh, okay. Well then,
There was no rhyme or reason for it.
She's gonna move into this one. see
That
what's
one
going
is
on
a
here.
double occupancy. It's a shared room, and inside is a man named James. Yep, James Rand. He has been.
Contact, then?
Yeah, he's alive. Yeah, you got contact. He's alive. He kind of as soon as you pop the door open, or as soon as that individual pops the door open, he is like, whoa, hey, what the hell's going on? I heard shots. What's going on?
Well, I'm not Kirsty, so I don't know. What does she do?
Well, for now, you can be Kirsty because she's in your fire team.
Well, she's gonna. I've ordered them all to contact me or tell me anything if they find anybody.
Yeah, she's in the middle of him doing all that. She's definitely like, I got a live one, or appropriate a brevity code here for that.
I'll tell troop commander that we got another civvy in the I guess what would I call that? The dual quarters room, quote unquote.
It's just personal quarters. It's just that these two happen to share a door because
Oh wait, no wait. It's got a letter next to it. Quarters to
to
what
you,
is that? A U?
to you.
We got another
So-
civvy in quarters to you.
Quarters to you. Happy quarters to you.
Shut the fuck up!
Whoa, easy. Aiello comes
Don't worry,
over.
Liz.
Hurst is right here. Hurst comes in behind. Kind of follows in to kind of keep Overwatch. But between these two, they gather up Mr. Rand.
Yeah, I'm gonna have them put in.
And
I
bring
want him
him
to
over.
be in that room with the rest of them. Yeah.
Yeah, bring him over for his own safety. They long story short, that everybody is able to pick up on this one is that he's been locked in that room. He is also very curious and concerned for his wife Charlotte. She's on
Okay,
the
I'm
station
keeping an eye-
somewhere.
an eye for that
Charlotte
one.
Rand is one of the 4, 5, 6, whatever it was that went to attempt to send that distress signal.
Ooh, well, that bodes ill. Uh-oh. Well, that's the rest of my my characters that I have command
And
of.
yeah, that's pretty much your turn there for the moment. So we go to Hellwig. Anything in particular you want to knock out before I move over to the XO?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna start. I'm not really gonna interrogate them, but I'm gonna interrogate them.
It's not
I'm not going to
interrogation
really
if you're just.
interrogate them.
It's not interrogation if you're just asking questions.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. It's a little bit of a car. It's a little bit of a car battery for a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be very much like Columbo and just go.
Oh, and one more
Uh,
thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna start asking them, like, hey, what was the last thing they remember over the intercoms?
Sorry, go ahead.
Anything like that before the lockdown happened?
They don't know for sure. They just like so basically everybody was going about their normal duty day and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. They just know that after a little bit, Berghoff or whatever his stupid name is, basically stopped interacting with anybody, like completely. Like he was normally kind of a recluse, right? But he just
Right.
like completely stopped talking to people. He had mentioned Rand actually brings this up. He had mentioned something about a ramjet engine for space. I'm probably gonna butcher this word, but a Bussard ramjet,
Okay.
which I believe There's an engineer out there that's going to slap me in the face. It's okay. I've got it coming. It's basically a ramjet engine concept, but for the vacuum of space.
Cool.
Okay.
How the hell
Somebody-
does that work?
I don't know. I'm not a spaceman.
It has something to do with like getting up to sufficient velocity that you're able to actually collect a certain amount, like a base amount of shit. I listen. I'm not an engineer, man.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I mean, you can hand wave it as much as you want.
Yeah. So basically,
No, I
fundamentally,
demand theoretical physics. Okay, if there's not a white paper on this, it's garbage.
well, you're looking for the wrong person if you want that from me.
Okay.
Thanks for the Reservoir Dogs reference, Helwig, by the way. Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna ask. I'm gonna ask those. I'm gonna basically use my investigate skill.
Okay.
And
Would
just
you
kind of go through?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna kind of go through them and basically, as a collective group, start asking the questions and be very, like I said, Columbo work, like
Yeah,
or
yeah.
even whatever.
Make your is it actually investigation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually
Investigate.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make your investigate education roll.
okay. So here we go.
That is a 5 plus what?
Plus a 1, and then where's my investigate? Plus another 2, so I got an 8.
Oh wow, look at that. You managed to actually like piece this together almost like out of instinct than it is about any specific training or skill set. But you do get the gist of the story. One, everything that you could like based on everything you're hearing and the fact that it's coming from multiple sources and from multiple questions asked slightly differently, that the information must be at least mostly true, or everybody basically believes this to be true, because the information is more or less the same. Is that a number of days ago, something was found. It was brought on board. Berghofer started acting a little bit more weird than he normally was. And keep in mind, like, this is a guy that, he interacts with people only when he needs to in order to accomplish his job. Other than that, he's usually in his room doing some sort of professional reading or hobby reading or something of that nature. And then he goes to bed. And then he gets up and he does it all over again. Doesn't really interact with people a whole lot. Only within the scope of his duties as if he's not the chief engineer, he's like the second engineer. So he's pretty high up there as far as engineering goes. And his responsibility, of course, is the overall operation of the station itself. And then a couple of days after whatever it was they found was brought aboard, he completely cut off interactions with anybody. He would spend many hours, not just his normal work shift, but many hours in engineering. He would spend hours in I don't know if this station actually has like a legit library, so we'll just say in his quarters doing research on various engineering projects. And then not only was he completely cut off from everybody, he actually effectively locked himself in engineering. He would not come out for any reason. And that's when Kingsford went to interact with him to find out what was going on, and that's when Kingsford was killed, and then the lockdowns.
Okay, so I'm gonna relay that over the radio to the XO and to our all the rest of the senior staff that there is a potential threat on board other than the robots, and that we need to locate that's causing Berghofer to be very strange.
Okay. Yeah, there's no direct connection between a thing on board making Berghofer go crazy. Nobody's saying that. But it is noted that up until a day or two after this thing was brought on board, that's when he started becoming more reclusive. That's when he started to be completely cut out. That's when shit started to happen.
Yeah, so I mean that's why I'm going to relate it. It's like I can't say specifically, but my gut, my investigative gut says that this thing's a potential threat.
Right. Let me look through my notes real quick and see if anybody in this group would actually have a little bit more about.
Because it definitely was not Colonel Mustard.
Oh,
in the library.
actually, I take that back. Hold on. No. The lady, actually, Anna Kruger, the first lady that you guys started talking to in the assembly room. Her
Okay.
husband is the CMO of the station, and
Chief
he's
medical officer. Okay.
Yep, chief medical officer, and she knows based on. Let me back up. I don't want to give you too much information, but I don't want to tell you what to ask for. So I'm trying to figure out how to resolve this in my head. In D&D, this would just be an insight roll, as I
Right.
understand it.
What are you going for? What's the effect you're going for?
I want to give information that he has not specifically asked, but I don't want to tell him what to actually ask for because that would give it away, if that makes sense. So basically, I was going to have him just make another investigate roll slightly easier.
Yeah, so if you're looking for like body language or something like that, that would be like carouse or persuade.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a carouse and I got a streetwise. So
Well, street rise is more about. Like,
here's what I'll do.
Drugs.
Here's what I'll
Yeah.
do, Charles.
In charge.
When it's mentioned that something is brought on board, you notice whether questioning her specifically or you catch her in the corner of your eye or something like that. But
Okay.
there's something about her body language that catches your attention. You can't quite pin it down, but something about
spot the perp. Okay.
yeah, you can call it that.
Yep. Spot the perp. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I'm gonna pull her off to the side, kind of into a spot, and I'm gonna do the whole you can trust us. You know,
I'm sorry. Please continue. Don't let me laughing stop you.
Well, what's wrong with? Hey, he's being perfectly good. He can trust.
No,
us.
I'm just easily amused. Don't listen to me.
yeah, you can trust us. You're not gonna be in trouble. But I saw you kind of stiffen up when someone mentioned something was brought on board. Were you there when it got brought on board? Can you describe it? Because we need to know if this is going to cause problems.
Well,
And
why
again,
a bad cop?
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
gonna
going to
go-
do it. I'm going to do another investigate.
Yes,
roll
please.
here.
Please.
Ooh, can I be
Please.
bad cop?
No. You're still checking rooms.
Oh.
I think you're only
there you
capable of
go.
being
So again,
bad
an
cop.
8.
Yeah, no, she I think you get the look of her kind of like, okay, bullshit, but I also understand the situation because she's kind of like the XO of the ship or the station. So
Yeah.
she's like, okay, listen, this would probably help you, but if this was any other situation, I don't think I'd provide this information because she herself is not supposed to be completely in the know on this. And the only reason why she is her husband is the doctor on the ship. I keep saying ship, I mean station. He is
Right.
the station doctor, and what was brought on board was brought into the medical lab and medical isolation, medical whatever.
Okay.
It was the best that people that looked into it could tell. It was some sort of escape pod or survival raft or something like that, and inside were the remains of some alien. About a day after it was brought on board, the contents of this pod or what have you suddenly sprouted a plant. We don't know exactly what the I can't think of the word. Give me like half a second here. They don't know what exactly made it the ideal scenario for these seeds to suddenly sprout seedlings, whatever the very youngest of plants are. But over the course of another day or so, the plant grew to about a half a meter or so in length. It now has, clearly defined stalks, leaves, and possibly petals. I don't know
Okay.
if this is directly related to Berghofer losing his shit. Personally, I think he was a little shitty to begin with, but he did his job, so I couldn't say anything. And all of a sudden, he kind of went off the deep end. And it's ironic that only a day or two after they found this alien shit, that he lost his shit. I'm saying shit an awful lot. So.
Right.
Um,
So yeah, with that, I'm gonna just kind of then I'm gonna mention that to the doctor, and again mention that to the XO that there's some sort of I don't want to say hostile, but foreign plant on board, and we may have an airborne threat that we may want to mass back up for.
XO, that one goes directly to you.
And that's your opinion as the medical officer on scene?
No, that's just my opinion based
From the
on
wife of a medical officer on the scene.
Yeah.
sorry. Don't. I'm being a smartass. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. That I'm just putting things together. I'm just saying that based on the experiences of hostile dust and things like that in my colony, seeing people do weird things and exposed to certain drugs and stuff like that, that we may want to be prepared for an airborne bio.
serious?
Roger that. And then Wyatt will go on to broadcast to everyone. I assume you sent that directly to me, right? Not to.
Yeah. It was on the straight comm channel to you.
Yeah. Okay. And then so Wyatt will go to White Beam for the entire team. It's been advised there might be an environmental hazard. Everyone go back to ship air. Everyone goes back to your air supply onto your suit. So suit back up.
Okay, well, we never took them off, so I mean, that's good, right, guys?
I love how Sam's just like, oh, thank God I can finally breathe. Let me go kick down doors. And then a few minutes later, oh, imagine that. We never actually took our helmets off. That is so weird.
And then Wyatt will so then Wyatt will talk back to ships. Wayfinder Actual. This is Wayfinder 1.
XO, go ahead.
We've been advised there might be an environmental hazard on board the station. We may need to prepare for quarantine.
Understood. I think we only have the 2 medical people of the ship's crew, and I think you got both of them down. Let me look at my notes real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the
you got
ship's
Hoffman
doctor
and
the nurse.
you've got Hoffman and Chadwick down there, which means the ship has no medical personnel of its own. So hopefully nobody scrapes through an arm. All right, Roger, understood. Anything we can do to help you out? Also, the ship is. You can hear him as he's waiting for your response. He's giving instructions to the flight team to disconnect from the station, like physically remove itself from. Because originally you guys were docked, and you were passing through the docking tube or what have you to get into this central area. The captain has now, because you mentioned possible contagion or what have you, he is severing that physical link between the ship and the station.
Epic. Thanks, thanks, dude, for telling him about that. We could have just not told him, and then we'd be fine.
You keep in mind the captain is responsible for every life on board his ship, and you just said the worst possible words: airborne pathogen.
What's so bad about air? Come on, dude. There's nothing wrong with an airborne pathogen.
Yeah,
We all have
no,
cool
it just,
fucking masks on. Come on, we're good.
yeah, no, we just went through 2 years of airborne pathogens. We're fine.
yeah. No, 2? Shit, 3.
Yeah.
It's all good,
no.
man. Relax. By the way, Omar, never assume I'm talking in character unless I have my fucking funny grumbly voice on. FYI.
Yeah. I got you.
Please.
I just had to
I'm someone else
assume that. Anyway, Wiggles, please continue.
Another negative thing about we'll continue exploring the station and we'll see whether or not the risk how real the risk is.
Understood.
We're gonna proceed to a data uplink with the robot maintenance log to see what was wrong with the robots, and we'll see whether we can get comms back open.
All right, roger that. Let us know if you need anything.
Roger, Wayfinder 1 out.
All right. On that note, is Wyatt doing some diagnostic digging into the robotics? Or
yeah.
anybody on that crew, anyways?
He'll assign one of the mechanics to start unlocking doors for the Marines, and he'll assign one of the mechanics to start going through robot logs.
Okay. Well, you have
And,
one. Unless I'm mistaken, I think you only
We have
one
2
down.
mechanics.
So there's 2
I'm
on
pretty sure
the.
we have 2 mechanics.
Yeah,
We have 2 mechanics.
The other one's over here, up on the rotunda. You know what? He might have actually supposed to been going. I don't remember now. Oh, we'll just retcon it. And Eggleston is down here now. Eggleston is currently hanging out with a nurse just to make sure that the nurse isn't by himself. I think it's a he. Yeah, Trenton Chadwick. Yeah. So, eventually the doors again across the entire station. All the doors revert back to their standard security profile, which is if the person that holds the key wants that door locked, it's locked. Otherwise, it's unlocked. But as always, all doors can be command overridden. So basically, setting it back to, like I said, its default security profile. The other mechanic starts looking through the robotics logs. Perhaps we need Wiggles to reconnect to TTS.
Yeah, sure.
While you're doing
But-
that, I have your character sheet here. Are you cool with me rolling something for
My
you?
battery's getting low, so I'm gonna see when I get my brother bring me my power cord.
Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah. I have engineering skills, so well, why we'll try to get comms back and working. So it's either electronics or engineering. I'm pretty sure I have both.
Yeah, just something to help you investigate into the
Yeah, I have
logs.
electronic comms. Yeah, I have electronic comms one. So I will go back to the command deck and I will try to start figuring that out.
Oh no, I was talking about the robotics work logs.
Oh yeah, I got engineering. I got electronics. I can do that. I can help with that. Yeah.
All right.
And mechanics too.
Yeah, mechanics 2 works for me. Let me go. I'm gonna grab some dice real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. So I'll just add. What's your education? I forget. Oh my. Maybe I won't roll for you. Maybe you should have one of your fellow players roll for you. For those
what are we
watching,
rolling?
just a 2d6 plus at least 2. Because I
My
rolled
education is a +1.
plus
My
1.
education is a
No.
Okay,
We got,
about education.
it's his roll, but he can't actually make the roll right now because he's not connected to Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah. It's
So I
a
need someone
+1.
else to roll
So it's,
2d6 plus
+3.
3. Plus 3 total.
So I'll just fuck, hold on, ignore that.
I mean, that's
So
a
you got
10. That's a 10. I'll roll with that. Okay. Basically, what you figure out in the as you and the mechanics mate there are digging through the engineering logs, looking at the work order history for the various robots. You notice that there was a number of them that were assigned to effectively guard duty, which of course they've already been shot up and stuff. A number of them were specifically set to go to specific locations, grab specific items or machinery components, and then bring them back. There is a number of them, a big number of them, let's just say 10 or 20, that were dispatched along the whole of the station to take assembled parts, fix them to the hull of the station, and wire them into the station's electronic system. It doesn't list specific items that are being maneuvered or moved or disassembled or assembled. It just says, go here. It gives like a physical location. Go there, grab this item, a brief description of what that item is, by serial number, that is, like some sort of numberized coding system. So it doesn't say go down to the 3rd floor of the hotel and grab the ice machine. It says go to the 3rd floor, the north side, 10 feet down and 5 feet over, find machine labeled ice box, serial number 777662, remove panel 1, grab motor, serial number 77448A3C, retrieve, bring back. That's kind of like the log entries, is stupid shit like that, right? Over and over and over. And if it's either, like I said, it's either going somewhere, grabbing something, bringing it back, or taking something from somewhere on the engineering deck and taking it to another location, or taking it to an airlock so that robots on the hull of the ship can grab it, take it to another location on the exterior of the station, and start basically bolting it onto the side of the ship. And if you recall, I realized it was a few weeks ago, but if you recall, I did mention something about as you approach the station and as you cross from your ship to the station, you see out of the corner of your eye these robots skittering along the sides of the hull of the station. Again, I realize it's been a few weeks. May not recall. But that is the gist of the robot logs.
Yeah, our first goal will be to put all the robots in the standby mode and send them back to their storage area.
And they are.
Yeah.
When you guys shut down the robots, they basically went into a powered down standby mode. So now it's just a matter of send home, basically.
Yeah.
And so once you send that command, anybody in the station will notice these robots are moving fairly orderly from wherever they are to various storage locations all across or inside the station, various decks and things. And there's a bunch of them because apparently Berghofer was making all of the robots on the station do all of the work for him. Whatever it was he was trying to do, they were the worker bees. He was the one guiding them.
Fair enough.
Also, you could tell from looking through the logs that it wasn't necessarily a failure or some goofy reprogramming or anything like that. It was literally Berghofer had all of the access that he needed to execute the commands for these robots to do the things they did, to include attacking people. Some of those commands he had to actually...
Well, some of the guy went insane.
Manner of speaking, perhaps.
Went fucking mental, boy.
I don't want to give away all the details yet.
Has that been explained to any of us, or is that just an XO thing?
That's what the XO and the mechanics mate have figured out.
Okay, so nobody knows that yet. Okay,
not unless he wants to broadcast that to everybody.
No, that's not something I would broadcast to everyone, though. That's just a weird puzzle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't broadcast to everybody. There might be either a potentially insane man running amok.
No, he's not running amok. He's been detained. He's tied up in. I believe somebody knocked him out.
Oh, epic! Let's go.
I believe somebody knocked him out. I could be wrong. Because I think did somebody throw in like a knockout grenade or something like that?
Oh.
If it was the person inside the robotics room, yeah, 2 Marines managed to do him.
Yeah, somebody
Let's
I remember he's definitely detained. Like he's been zip tied and somebody's got him on guard. He's currently, for whatever reason, I'm just going to GM hand wave. He's currently asleep, whether he was knocked out or otherwise. He has collapsed from exhaustion or whatever. Yeah,
we put a gun in his hand, right?
No, Zam, stop.
No,
stop.
No.
Stop. You don't do that. First off, you're doing it wrong, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say shit else. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, you're doing it wrong.
No, I'll figure out how to do it right then. Hold on.
No, don't say it on the stream.
he would pop up and start shooting us.
Yeah,
that's
that's why you're doing it wrong. Don't make me say anything else. I know too many. Definitely watched a few shows of things I don't need to watch.
Yeah, it's too close for a couple people.
Yeah, it could be that too.
So we'll start making out like a heat map of where the robot activity was mostly concentrated.
Okay.
And we'll figure out where that is.
You're not back on. Can
somebody my laptop has like 34 minutes left.
Okay.
And I extended that by turning off TTS. TTS like ate through my laptop's battery.
Yeah, it'll do that, unfortunately.
I'll just be the designated Wiggles roller for now.
Yeah, because if I do it and I roll Snake Eyes again, I'm probably gonna throw something across my apartment.
Okay, Wiggles, you're putting all your trust in me. Good luck with that.
Yeah, just another 2d6 plus 3.
2d6 plus 3. Well, the plus 3 doesn't. I mean,
you can't add the plus 3.
Yeah, you can't add it. Yeah.
I am rolling good for you, Wiggles.
All right, that'll work.
Well,
so you start piecing together where the robots have gone and where they're going and try to figure things out. It looks like a lot of the work interior of the station it's really hard to try and narrow it down. It's almost as if all of the things that Berghofer was trying to gather, whatever he was going to do with them, whether they were disassembled for use as something else or if it was the actual component he needed, these things were all over the station. There's a lot of like nooks and crannies and crawlways. In Star Trek, they'd be called Jeffrey's tubes. All kinds of different ways to get from one end of the station to another that the average person would never know or to go to. And these these robots were using every bit of them and going to every one of them to grab one thing and come back. And then 2 days later, something else will go to that same room again and grab something else and come back. But on the interior, it's really hard to pin it down because they are literally everywhere. On the exterior, yeah, I was just getting there. On the exterior, it looks as though, so if you guys recall, the station is kind of shaped like a cigar, with a hab ring of sorts at the one end, towards the backside. And that's where you guys are right now. The spokes of the hab ring is where Wyatt and the rest of these guys are on excuse me, on this board here. That's one of the spokes, and only 1 of 7 are actually in use. The other 6 are currently powered down, no atmosphere, etc., etc. Although the bots have been all over the place. This section here, these two, where the gunfighting and all that stuff was, that is the, we'll say the top deck of the Hab ring. Does that make sense to everybody so far?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So that ring is towards the back end of this cigar-shaped station. There was a bunch of work done in something of a ring around the front end of the station. And there was another almost twice as much work done on the back end between the machinery and everything else that you see here on the table and the exact far end of the aft section. What I'm picturing in my mind is you have this cigar-shaped thing, you've got the Hab ring, and there's like machinery and stuff that helps keep the Hab ring spinning to create artificial gravity. About halfway between that and the actual ass end of the station is where this work was being done on the exterior of the ship. I mean station.
Okay. I'm gonna call a meeting with the troop sergeant and with our medical personnel, and we're gonna have a meeting inside the command module.
Command deck?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want, first we're going to take Nurse Chadwick, Mechanic, so, and where did Hoffman go? What did I do with Hoffman?
Yeah. Where did Hoffman? Where'd you go?
There he is right here. Boatwright is one of Benefield's. Hoffman's over here. Hoffman is now an NPC. GM NPC, that is. Okay. You want to meet in the catapult control, because that's the control systems for the grabbing and launching of the ice chunks.
I just need a secure room to talk to them in.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So I explained the situation. With the robots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that we might be possible here. We might be doing quarantine due to an environmental hazard. Wayfinder has already cut the umbilical. We need to set up a brig, and we need to set up a guard watch on the brig for our possibly mentally ill or otherworldly influenced person. We need to finish clearing. We need to finish clearing the ship, and then we're also going to need to set up a team to go explore what the robots are doing on the exterior of the ship.
Okay.
And medical personnel is going to inventory the med bay here and see what we have and see what we need for our quarantine.
This would be a great time to have an actual player play as the doctor.
I'm being as rational as an exit as possible.
No, I know. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I got you. Okay. All right. Yeah. You're gonna want to put. Well, yeah. First things first. You're gonna want to put Berghofer somewhere. Where?
I'm gonna leave that up to the troop sergeant to designate one of the rooms as a brig and to combine them there.
Well,
and then yeah.
Well, the one option, actually, Hurst actually says this. What about just locking him up in his quarters and putting a guard on him?
Yeah, that sounds fine. Yeah, just establish a guard rotation.
Okay. I don't recall specifically which room was. I think this is his off the top of my head. So there, and then Benefield's team is. I'm gonna put Benefield's team over there once I figure out where they. That's Franco. Where did I put? I thought I named all these. Here,
Excuse me.
Where is Benefield's team? Spearman is.
I don't know. Oh, he's right there.
Oh, did they? Oh, they were the ones that actually went and locked his ass up. That's what it was. That's right. Okay. They're just gonna stay with him. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Ah, fuck. Yeah, sorry. I had to reload because I fucking deleted too many people. Give me a second.
I'm up to
Sorry.
42% now.
I'm listening to Surf
Ooh.
in Summer.
You know, it might be worthwhile to see if you could just leave the board open and see whether or not he might 100% it.
Right?
Every time he changes it, it goes up.
That's so weird.
You know, I really want to get the vibe going right now. Can somebody please put on Surf in Summer?
No,
Uh,
I think you'll be okay.
God damn it!
I know your GM's an asshole. I don't know if you caught that yet.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he makes up bullshit technology, doesn't play music. I mean, what is this?
And then
Come on,
when one of his players suggests something for his stream, he doesn't even give a justification. He's just like, no, I'm not doing
No,
it.
I run this game.
Okay. Yeah, so Berghofer is detained in his quarters, and for now, the guard detail is rotating through Benefield and his team. All right, so that was the
Shit
brig.
detail, but
What
it
was
needs to
what was
happen.
the other one you want? I know you wanted to set up a. Oh, you
The
wanted a
medical
medical
per-
team.
Medical personnel that go to the medical bay.
Okay.
With Marine support, clear that out. Do inventory. See what we need. Have for
Okay.
quarantine. What we need for quarantine.
All right, I'm going to assign that task to the armsman, Helwig. And here's what I'm thinking. Charles, what I would like for you to do, if you're okay with it, you
Yeah.
will go with the medical crew, which is Nurse Chadwick and Dr. Hoffman, to the medical bay. I will have you do the medical related things as though you were the doctor. Are you okay with doing that?
Okay.
All right. But we are going to take a brief break before we get into all that.
Oh, god damn it!
Yeah, I know. I'm such a jerk. Why would I take a
I want to
break?
hurry up and kill some people.
Why would the GM choose to take a break right before what could be? I don't know.
Listen, man.
I mean-
I just want to commit.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right. So for my viewers, I just muted the desktop, but I'm going to mute the rest of us. We are going to take a break. We will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes to find out just what they are going to find in the medical lab, because that was totally not